Okay, so I'd like to just ask you what's your name and where have you lived and your rank, basically.
Well, my name is Warren Lee Fountain, and I've lived a lot of places. I was born in Fort Lauderdale Beach, Florida, and I stayed there until I was 17. I joined the military in 1980, and from there, you ask places I've lived. I've lived Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I've lived in Petersburg, Virginia. I was stationed at Fort Eustis. In New York, Fort Dix, New Jersey. I've lived there. I've lived in Kentucky. I was stationed at Fort Knox. I've been there several times. I was there first as a trainee, and I went back again in 1995 as a drill sergeant. I spent most of my career in Germany, Schweinfurt, Germany, 364 Armor. I was on a border patrol. That's what we did, and I loved it. I loved it. And I was there for 6 years. I spent some time in Korea, Fort Benning, Georgia, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I mean, I've been a lot of places. So, and then I spent some time at West Point, New York. My wife taught physics there, so I was there. We were there for 3 years. So we lived in the town of Clemson. So I got to stay there for a while, and from there I left and went back to Fort Knox, and from there to Fort Stewart. And Fort Stewart is where I retired from, Fort Stewart, Georgia.
So one of our questions, where our main government project has to do with the political parties. So what political party would you affiliate yourself with?
Neither.
Neither.
Listen, when it comes with me in politics, when it comes to politics, it's always it's never a one-man show. They can make you a promise all they want, but when it comes down to it, it's always compromise. If you want this, you got to do this. And when passing bills, you take the class. When they try to pass these bills, there's things that are loaded into these bills, aren't they? From the, okay, I'll pass it only if you allow this to go. So, and you know, it's always a give and take, and it's always compromise. But I came up as a Democrat, but as I learned, went along, it's always compromise, and you never get what they promise. You never get it, and so. But for when I was in the military, the military always flourishes under a Republican president. So you know, when in the military, I was Republican because we always got taken care of. When there's a Democratic president, they tend to try to draw the military down, draw it out, so we don't flourish as much. So.
Yeah. So since you said that since you were in the military, like you were definitely like a hardcore Republican, what do you think of Donald Trump running as a Republican candidate for president?
You ever been to circus? Okay, there you go. That's what I said. You know, I guess he says a lot of things that people want to hear, but when it comes down to it, I watched the debates the other night when the Republic, and you know, when they hit him with the issues, he could not, for the life of him, answer anything that made any sense with any clarity. So.
So how did the military life compare to like a normal life? Like you would go around seeing like people with just their families. How do you think like it compared to like, didn't you live on a base or something? How would that compare to just living in the military?
Well, I remember I went in when I was 17.
Oh yeah.
So that's all I knew from that age, and but military life is still family, even though you're in housing. Now the difference is this: in the housing, you're in one unit, and there's a whole bunch of military families there, and things are pretty much structured, and there's some things you can't do, you can't say, but whereas on the outside here, you can pretty much you're on your piece of property. You pretty much do what you want to do, but on a military base, there are restrictions to a lot of stuff that you can do and you can't do. So I would say for structure and military life is family life on base is structure. But that being said, there are a whole lot of more things that you can do on a military post with a family, and you don't have to pay for it, versus somebody out here in the economy. But they put on a lot of stuff for the families, and it's free. It's free for the service members and their family. You know, if you shop on post versus shopping at Walmart, you don't pay taxes. If I want to get a pair of tires for my car, eat a hot dog on post, I can show my DPP card. Boom, I don't have to pay a dime. I can't do that off post. If I made $20,000 as a civilian versus $20,000 as a military brat, guess what? My money, the military person's money, will go a whole lot further because I don't have to pay for a gym membership on the military. I can go show my card. I can go to any military gym facility. If I go in the store and I buy a shirt and the price tag says $4.95, guess what? That's all I pay. There are no taxes. So I think it's more of an advantage when you stand on a military base.
So, do you believe that your views of government has changed since you've been in the military? Since you've said that you've been like a hardcore Republican, have you stayed Republican, or have you gone back to what you were as a Democrat?
Well, I don't lay my head on politics too much anymore. You know, because it's just, you know, either way you go, you become disappointed because things come to light, and you thinking, oh, and all of a sudden, boom, he's not what he said he was, and things aren't the way they promised they would be, and then, you know, you have one candidate trying to do something, and the other candidate's fighting against him, and then they blame it on him because it didn't happen. In reality, you saw it. Every time he tried to push a bill forward, they fought against him, and so it's just a game, and I've learned in life and with politics and just like with anything with life, it's always a compromise there. And you as an individual, you can't lay your head on politics, or you got to lay your head on people and what do you know as a person, and you can go back. I go back on my experiences in life, and I don't depend on politics because I know stuff's going to happen. It's just going to happen, but I just got to make sure that I'm in a place, if I have to make a decision, I don't have to lean and depend on politics. I can do it as an individual. So.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. It was very nice interviewing you.
All righty then.